Hello. In 2007, a 3-year-old girl mysteriously disappeared just 100 meters away from her mother. The police spent a lot of effort searching, but could not find the little girl. The incident attracted widespread attention from the media and public opinion. While people were curious about where the little girl had gone, the case took a turn just 3 days later. I will tell you about the details of the case. The story took place in Bayshore, a coastal town located in southern Florida. Bayshore is known for its free trade industrial park. The main industrial park in Bayshore is dubbed the Silicon Valley of the East. The Newtown residential area is located in the northeast of Bayshore, adjacent to the free trade industrial zone. The area is in a rapid development phase, and more young people are choosing to live here. The streets and alleys are full of vitality and freshness. However, on a beautiful afternoon, an unbelievable event was quietly approaching. On July 6, 2007, which was a Friday afternoon in Bayshore, a panicked woman rushed into the police station. She expressed, "My 3-year-old daughter went missing this morning. I've searched everywhere but can't find her. I hope the police can help search as quickly as possible." The woman who came to report the incident was named Emily Thompson, 28 years old, working as a sales clerk at a local company. She said, "At 8:30 this morning, I drove my 3-year-old daughter to the parking lot near a church. Then we went to a nearby breakfast place to eat. After finishing, I took my daughter back to the parking lot. Because I had work to do that day, it wasn't convenient to take her along. I planned to drive to my mother's house to ask her to take care of my daughter for the day. I told my daughter to sit still next to the car and not go anywhere while I went to pay the parking fee 100 meters away." The little daughter, named Lily Thompson, 3 years old, was wearing cute cartoon pajamas with shoulder-length hair, looking very adorable. The little girl obediently stayed in place without whining to follow her mother. 10 minutes after I paid the parking fee and returned, I was shocked to find my daughter had disappeared. I hurriedly searched around the entire parking lot, but couldn't find any trace of her. Extremely anxious, I immediately called my mother. After hearing this, my mother quickly rushed to the parking lot, and we searched around for 3 hours, but with no results. Finally, I decided to go to the police station to report the incident. After receiving the report, several police officers immediately went to the scene. They questioned parking lot staff and nearby business owners, but no one had seen a little girl matching the description. The police made a preliminary assessment that the girl had not wandered off on her own, but had been kidnapped. The next day, July 7, 2007, as soon as the news was reported by the press, the disappearance attracted deep concern from everyone. Some Bayshore residents even spontaneously took to the streets to help search, hoping to quickly find the little girl. After the incident, the local Women's Association expressed concern about the case. The chairwoman of the Women's Association mobilized women's groups in 13 areas of Bayshore, along with nearly 1,000 county representatives, to launch a large-scale search campaign. They carried flyers with Lily Thompson's photo and went through streets and alleys to search. The fact that a child could be kidnapped within 10 minutes of leaving her mother's sight reflected that the current social security situation was in a state of alert. The chairwoman called on all parents and relatives to be vigilant when taking children to public places, to hold their children's hands tightly and ensure their children do not leave their sight. Lily Thompson's grandfather, 53-year-old Robert Thompson, said, "My granddaughter has a lively and cheerful personality, but never actively approaches strangers. She's just an innocent and simple child. So pitiful." He believed his granddaughter must have been kidnapped. Before the media, he also expressed his view to the kidnappers. "Please contact our family quickly, and we can meet any demands. Just don't harm my innocent granddaughter." Lily Thompson's biological father, upon hearing the news, immediately set out from New York to return to Florida. The girl's mother sadly said, "My daughter has poor health, with urinary dysfunction due to poor excretion. She needs to take medication twice a day. If she doesn't take the medication for a long time, her body could face serious problems." 48 hours had passed since the girl went missing. After 2 days of searching the entire city, there was still no progress. The girl's family had not received any calls from kidnappers, making them extremely anxious. Some residents reported to the police that they had heard a little girl crying in the commercial street area. They suspected the girl might be hidden there. Therefore, the police immediately dispatched 20 officers with police dogs to search the area. The girl's mother even brought some of her daughter's belongings, hoping the dogs could pick up her scent. However, the search remained completely deadlocked. Upon deeper investigation, the police discovered a surprising truth, and the case took a 180-degree turn. According to the investigation, the girl's parents married in 2001 and separated in 2006. They were currently in the process of finalizing their divorce. After separating, the girl's mother moved in with her new boyfriend, named Michael Johnson, and brought her daughter to live together as a family of 3. However, they neglected to take good care of the child, causing Lily's condition to become increasingly serious. Regarding this issue, Lily's grandfather had expressed dissatisfaction many times because since his granddaughter was born, she had always lived with her grandparents. But after Emily Thompson moved in with her boyfriend, she wanted to take care of the child herself. Until the incident occurred, the grandfather had only seen the little girl twice, and the most recent time was 2 weeks before the incident happened. Because Emily Thompson's new boyfriend was unemployed and stayed at home, she had entrusted her daughter to him to take care of while she went to work. Since moving out on her own, Lily was only given to her maternal grandparents to care for twice. On the day of the incident, Emily Thompson said she intended to leave her daughter with her mother for the day. According to a neighbor, 3-year-old Lily couldn't adapt to the new environment after moving. She was afraid to sleep alone and often cried at night. Additionally, due to her weak physical condition, she often had accidents, which made her stepfather, Michael Johnson, very uncomfortable. The little girl had seriously affected Emily Thompson and Michael Johnson's private world after they moved in together. After a long time, Michael Johnson became very dissatisfied with this. On July 8, 2007, the police summoned Emily Thompson and her boyfriend Michael Johnson to the police station for questioning. During the interrogation, Michael Johnson always avoided the issue and did not directly answer questions related to the daughter's disappearance. He remained silent and did not provide any information that could help the investigation. Emily Thompson said that on the day of the incident, because she had to go pay the parking fee, she left her daughter alone. However, the parking lot staff said that Emily Thompson's car was not parked in the designated area for registered vehicles, but only temporarily parked, so there was no need to pay a fee. Moreover, the parking lot staff also confirmed that they did not see Emily Thompson bring a child with her that day. When asked to present the parking receipt, Emily Thompson could not produce it. She explained that she may have accidentally lost the receipt while searching for her daughter. Emily Thompson answered the police's questions fluently and appeared very calm. She even joked with the police in an incomprehensible manner. She seemed unconcerned about her daughter's disappearance, unlike a normal mother. This made the police suspect that the story of her daughter getting lost in the parking lot was fabricated by her. Emily Thompson initially denied the suspicion. However, after 4 hours of continuous interrogation, her psychological defenses completely collapsed, and she finally confessed the truth. It turned out that her daughter had been killed by her boyfriend, Michael Johnson, on the evening of July 5, 2007. After getting off work, Emily Thompson discovered her daughter had drowned in the bathtub. She immediately questioned her boyfriend about what happened. Michael Johnson said that because he was in a bad mood, he had pushed the child into the bathtub to release his pent-up frustration. After venting all his emotions, he left the child soaking in the bathtub and went out. When he returned to the bathroom, he was shocked to find the child had stopped breathing. Realizing the danger, he hurriedly tried to resuscitate her, but to no avail. The fragile child had died on the spot. That evening, Michael Johnson was also suspected of using drugs. When Emily Thompson learned of the situation, although she felt extremely saddened by her daughter's untimely death, What was done could not be undone. She had to accept the cruel reality because her daughter could not be brought back to life anyway. To avoid her boyfriend having to take legal responsibility, under his urging, the brutal couple dismembered the daughter's body together. Afterward, they drove to a nearby gas station to buy gasoline, then divided it into several mineral water bottles for convenience in burning the body. After buying the gasoline, they took the poor Lily's body to a cemetery in the Bayview area and burned it in a bush. Next, they threw the girl's bones into the river and trash cans along the road. After finishing everything, they returned home and thought of ways to cover up the disappearance of their child. The next day, July 6, 2007, Emily Thompson drove to the parking lot and fabricated the story of her daughter going missing there. After obtaining the confession, the police immediately arrested Emily Thompson and Michael Johnson. The police went to the burning and disposal site mentioned in the confession and conducted a search. In over 3 hours at the hillside area of Bayview Cemetery, the police found at least 5 empty mineral water bottles. In a grassy area of the cemetery, police discovered 3 burn marks, along with some unburned bone fragments. Near a stream by the shopping center, they found 4 more bone fragments. DNA test results confirmed that all the evidence belonged to little Lily Thompson. Additionally, surveillance video from the gas station showed that after the 2 arrived at the gas station that evening, their car broke down and the gas station staff helped them push it aside. After several attempts to start the engine, Michael Johnson finally succeeded. Then he got out of the car to buy gas and drove away. From beginning to end, Emily Thompson did not get out of the car. However, the surveillance footage clearly captured the appearances of the 2 heartless individuals. On July 9, 2007, 3 days after the case, the police officially arrested Michael Johnson and Emily Thompson. The case had taken a dramatic turn from a missing person case to a murder case, shocking many people. Hundreds of curious onlookers came to see the true faces of the inhuman couple. When faced with the fury of Lily Thompson's uncle, David Thompson, Michael Johnson remained silent and dared not say a word. However, when answering questions from the media, he showed no avoidance. He even casually allowed reporters to take photos and said to them in a relaxed manner, "You guys want to take pictures? Just take them slowly." His accomplice, Emily Thompson, only lowered her head and didn't say a word. When getting into the car, she sobbed and leaned on Michael Johnson's shoulder. Afterward, Michael Johnson still whispered something to Emily Thompson, as if instructing her about something. Due to insufficient evidence, the police requested the court to extend the detention period, which was approved. Lily's grandfather still could not believe that his own daughter would be so cruel as to participate in killing her own child. He was in extreme pain and declared before the crowd that he would cut off his father-daughter relationship with Emily Thompson. In the press conference, when mentioning his daughter's cruelty, Mr. Robert Thompson kept wiping away tears. The passing of his granddaughter broke his heart. That heartbreaking pain made him unable to forgive his own daughter. He expressed, "I will never forgive the person who killed their own child. Now only the law can punish her. I don't care anymore." Mrs. Sarah Thompson, Lily's grandmother, also said, 2 months before my daughter started dating Michael Johnson, I already didn't have a good impression of him. After my daughter brought my granddaughter home to live with him, I was very worried about whether he would treat my granddaughter well or not. 2 days before the incident happened, while sleeping, I vaguely dreamed of my granddaughter and felt very worried. Afterward, I asked my daughter to bring Lily home. However, my daughter always made excuses. I didn't want my daughter to take care of the child anymore, so I decided that on July 6, I would bring my granddaughter home and not let my daughter take care of her anymore. As a result, on that day, my daughter called me saying the child had gone missing. Sarah Thompson expressed, "At that time, I still trusted my daughter and scolded her for carelessly leaving the child alone like that." Mrs. Sarah Thompson added, "My daughter had brought my granddaughter and her boyfriend home twice, but each time they left in a hurry after getting some clothes. The last time I saw my granddaughter was 2 weeks before the incident happened. At that time, my daughter brought my granddaughter to visit her grandparents. I even asked my granddaughter how many days it had been since she saw her grandparents, and if she missed them. The little girl kept nodding in response, but no one expected that would be the last time we met. Whenever she recalled her granddaughter's adorable and obedient actions when alive, Mrs. Sarah Thompson's tears couldn't help but fall. That dream felt like a premonition when her granddaughter appeared in her dream with messy hair and not saying a word. The little girl was wearing cute pajamas, but her eyes were full of sadness, as if she had thousands of things to say. Mrs. Sarah Thompson always had a feeling that something bad had happened to her granddaughter. She never expected that something so terrible had really happened to her granddaughter. Her little granddaughter was only 3 years old when she was murdered and her body burned. So pitiful. Lily's uncle, David Thompson, condemned the murderous couple, saying, "You two are a pair of brutal beasts, not even as good as animals." He also stated that the burial would be decided by his brother, Lily's biological father, and absolutely not allow the wife's family to interfere. He pointed out, initially, the wife's family insisted on keeping the child with them. We didn't object and agreed because a young child really needs her mother's care. If we had known she couldn't take good care of the child, we would never have agreed to let her raise the child. According to information, on the evening Emily Thompson reported to the police, she had called a close friend who worked in a pharmacy, Miss A, and asked her about a lawyer's contact information. Emily Thompson often shared her thoughts with Miss A, but that evening she did not mention any news about her daughter going missing to her close friend, only asking for the lawyer's contact information. Miss A learned about Emily Thompson's daughter going missing through the news the next day. Additionally, a few months earlier, Emily Thompson had called Miss A to ask about a type of burn ointment, a medication that could help reduce the burning sensation caused by wounds. After the news of Lily's death spread, Miss A also speculated that the little girl might have been abused before she died. Unlike the public's outrage towards Emily Thompson and Michael Johnson, another friend of Emily Thompson, Mr. B, insisted that Emily Thompson loved her daughter very much and would not be so cruel as to kill her own child. Mr. B said that he and Emily Thompson were close friends. She often brought her daughter to attend their gatherings and always loved and was proud of her daughter. Mr. B did not believe Emily Thompson could be involved in killing her own daughter and suspected there was more to the story. Mr. B expressed that Emily Thompson had suffered too much from losing her child and hoped that the public would not rush to judge and condemn her as a cruel mother. Mr. B also revealed that Emily Thompson had used a small amount of drugs when she was young, but had quit after giving birth, showing her determination to become a good mother. Emily Thompson had confided in Mr. B that when she was pregnant with her daughter, her marriage to her ex-husband, James Thompson, was already in trouble. After separating, she raised her daughter alone, becoming a single mother. She not only had to work to earn money, but also take care of her daughter. Life was extremely difficult. She always hoped that her future husband would accept her daughter, but after dating her first boyfriend, he didn't like that she had a child, so they broke up. It was only after that she met her current boyfriend. Mr. B further stated that Emily Thompson and Michael Johnson had known each other for 9 months. Michael Johnson also had a habit of using drugs. Emily Thompson seemed very afraid of her boyfriend. In front of her boyfriend, she listened obediently without saying much. It was known that Michael Johnson had been married before and had 2 children, but his marriage only lasted a few years before ending. According to neighbors, Michael Johnson's grandfather was a kind person. He lived with his grandfather in an old house since he was young. However, his grandfather had moved away 3 to 4 months ago because the house was leaking. After Michael Johnson graduated from elementary school, he wandered around and got married when he was very young, not even 20 years old. At that time, many neighbors were invited to attend his wedding. Although they knew Michael Johnson had an impulsive personality, everyone found it hard to believe that he had killed someone and brutally burned the body of a little girl. 14 days after the case, on July 19, 2007, Michael Johnson was charged with murder and drug possession. Emily Thompson was also charged with providing false information and drug possession. Both were detained at the Bayshore prison awaiting trial. On February 18, 2008, another shocking news broke. That day, when prison guards were patrolling the cells, they unexpectedly discovered that Michael Johnson had committed suicide by hanging himself with a bath towel in his private cell. The prison management reported that a few days earlier, they had discovered Michael Johnson's intention to end his life because they saw him crying miserably several times and saying he was in debt and no longer wanted to live. To prevent his rash action, the prison authorities immediately moved him to a private cell in the central area of the prison for doctors to examine and treat him. However, he took advantage of a moment of carelessness when no one was watching and ended his own life. Michael Johnson's family, after receiving the police notification, came to the hospital the next day to claim the body. This was also the first time his family appeared in public, but they refused to be interviewed. With Michael Johnson's passing, all charges against him were dropped. The reason why Michael Johnson killed Lily Thompson, whether he had premeditated it or not, those unanswered questions became eternal mysteries that went with him to the grave. On November 28, 2008, the trial of Emily Thompson for providing false information began. After the trial started, the defense lawyer asked the court to consider that Emily Thompson was a first-time offender and requested leniency with a lighter sentence. Since Emily Thompson lost her daughter, she had been continuously condemned and criticized by society, even cursed as scum, and had to endure enormous psychological pressure. The defense lawyer also argued that Emily Thompson was forced to make a false report to the police. Faced with the pain of losing her child, she was deeply affected mentally, which led her to make mistakes under her boyfriend's manipulation. After deliberation, the court sentenced the defendant Emily Thompson to 3 years of probation for providing false information and allowed bail of $1,000. On June 22, 2009, due to lack of evidence, Emily Thompson was acquitted of drug possession charges. After 2 years of turmoil, the case finally came to an end. Although time may blur the story, when examining the details of the case of little Lily Thompson's unjust murder, many people can't help but wonder about the true cause of the little girl's death. That mystery also became an eternal secret buried with Michael Johnson. On the morning of July 15, 2008, Lily's father, James Thompson, along with relatives and friends, went to the Longfeng Temple on Hong Kong Street to retrieve the urn containing Lily's ashes. They then went to Bayshore Beach, boarded a boat, sailed out to sea, and released the urn into the water, letting it drift with the current, hoping that the little girl could rest in peace in the other world. Children are blessings from heaven. When they come to their parents, it is fate and a gift that all parents cherish. Most of the time, that's the case. But unfortunately, when married life encounters setbacks in marriage, children always have to bear more or less disadvantages and other emotional effects. Taking another step, whether for a man or a woman, can be easy. But for children, it is a profound change and adaptation. Anyone who remarries hopes that their new partner will treat their children well, like your children, my children, our children, when living together in the same house. Only then can everything be clear. Everyone has their own pursuit of happiness, and for parents who have already had children, after a failed marriage, finding a partner to rebuild their life and who knows how to love and sympathize with their children is a difficult equation. Today's video ends here, and I'll see you in the next videos. Goodbye.